Namaste, Vanakkam, greetings to all of you from Auroville. It's a very special month that we are entering. This is the 150th birthday of Sri Aurobindo that we are all going to be witnessing, experiencing and celebrating. So in the context of this, there's something very special that the mother said in her message of the new year in 1972. She says, let us all try to be worthy of Sri Aurobindo's centenary back then in 1972. I think and believe that this is absolutely relevant and absolutely appropriate for all of us at this moment too. On this note, also want to share some of the updates from Auroville. On the front of the Register of Residents or ROR, I want to thank all the sisters and brothers of Auroville who have really collaborated. And as we speak today, we have about 1,644 forms which have been completely filled with the mandatory fields ready, signed and submitted either in the paper form or in the online mode. But we still have about 800 plus which either are incomplete, the mandatory fields have not been filled or they have been not submitted at all. So we again want to take this opportunity to reach out and make a special appeal to each one of you. We would like to complete this at the earliest. So again, if you need any assistance, if you need any help in filling the form, and there have been several FAQs, frequently asked questions also posted about it. There are certain mandatory or compulsory fields which have to be filled. But there are certain optional ones. If you really don't want to fill those, that's your choice. But we would request all of you to do this at the earliest. Should you need any help in terms of assistance, translation, please reach out to us. But filling this form is a basic civic duty, a duty that all of us owe to this community, to Auroville, to the country, to Mother and to the world. And so I would really request all of you. And sometimes in this context, I also want to share a small experience. Yesterday, there was a young lady who had come probably in her 30s. And when I was having a conversation with her for the purposes of the visa, when we did ask her about since when she lived in Auroville, she apparently came here at the age of 9 and has been living here all these years. But when she was asked about the gist of the charter, she almost drew a blank and was not knowing more about it. While one doesn't expect that we all memorize the charter, but at least the gist of it, the spirit of it, the content of it is something that we owe to ourselves, to the Mother and to this beautiful country, that we are respectful of that. And so similarly, I also find that in recent days, there are certain members of this beautiful family of Auroville who are trying relentlessly to obstruct the process of development, whether it's in courts or whether it's through other aggressive behavior and so on. So again, my appeal to all of us is, look, we're all collectively in this journey of trying to really manifest what Mother left behind, her dream of a city of agnostic community that Sri Aurobindo speaks of. And if all of us collaborate and participate, I think it will make this journey as beautiful as the end that we're all aiming for. We also looked at some of the old forms which are there, and again, needless to say, many of the fields are outdated. They have incorrect details in terms of passport number, etc., because they have expired many years ago. So again, an appeal that all of us take this duty seriously and complete it so that we are able to ensure that the Register of Residents is updated, after which we can start various other processes which have been put on pause. On the other positive note, there are many other things that have been happening. For example, we had 2 very beautiful meetings with school teachers from different institutions connected with SIRE. And I must say that I was very deeply inspired with the various ideas, suggestions and initiatives that they're planning to take. And I want to really thank all of them for being a part of this and taking all this forward. Because Auroville and the educational institutions here are not only meant to be those that are anchored in integral education, integral yoga, but it's also about not only practicing this, but being able to be inspiration for others across the state of Tamil Nadu, others across India and across the world. And so I think these efforts, initiatives that they're doing, whether it's in the field of research, extension work, or capacity building, or just the relationship between students and teachers, the classroom interactions, all of this I think are very important, and I was very happy with the interactions with them. Similarly, on the FAMC front, there's some amazing work which is happening in the farm sector. I want to convey my gratitude to Gratitude Farms. We are collaborating with them, and there's several pilot projects which are now beginning to take shape. And I think with this, currently the production of organic food from our farms is about 15% approximately of what we consume. Not only should we be able to be absolutely self-sufficient in terms of Auroville's needs, even when the population goes up, but we should also be able to provide for our sisters and brothers elsewhere at cost maybe. So this is something that is taking shape now, and I am very happy and looking forward to this happening. Similarly, on the prosperity front too, I must share that a lot of work is now happening, and it's slowly moving forward with a great deal of promise, and we do hope to see the pilot and this also take shape well, and the whole group of members who are connected with prosperity are also looking forward to implementing this, which was again something very, very clearly that Mother wanted us to have. She didn't want any exchange of money, but actually money to not really be something that would come in the way of people leading a Gnostic life here, being able to do what they want to do, and yet all their needs and basic wants, needs, etc. taken care of. So that is, in that spirit, there's work happening there. I also want to share something which has been a very, very beautiful experience now for over 8 weeks, but 7 meetings that we've had, some amazing meetings on Wednesday afternoons. Because the idea is to meet each and every one of our sisters and brothers in Auroville. So we have these beautiful, unstructured but extremely meaningful meetings at the Bhumika Hall every Wednesday from 3:30. It goes on till about 4:35. And as a part of it, I want to appreciate and express my deep gratitude to sisters and brothers from countries like Korea, Japan, Russia, Belarus, Bulgaria, and of course in addition to the other countries like France, Germany, Italy, America, and so many other countries of the world who are all coming there. And I do hope through this channel to be able to reach out and meet all of you who are residing in Auroville, as well as friends of Auroville who would like to come here. And slowly we'll also see if we can reach out to all of you online to meet those of you who may not be physically living here, physically a part of the community here, or friends of Auroville. But there could be so many others, men and women of goodwill, as Mother had said, who may be deeply connected with the vision of the Mother and this whole dream of manifesting this beautiful city with all the elements of culture, music, with integral yoga centrally as the focal point. We're also on the verge of launching a special Auroville TV, which should happen in this very special month. And I think the entire team has been working very hard, and we also want to use this opportunity to invite each one of you, if there are any small videos, interviews, or anything that you want to offer as something that can be telecast through this medium for the whole of the world, please feel free to reach out to our media interface team. They will be very happy to figure out which slot it could go in. There are certain sectors ranging from yoga, physical exercises, etc. in the morning to various other things through the day, but all of them, of course, the core essence of which is integral yoga and integral education. On a similar note, there's also some excellent traction work happening on the L'Avenir d'Auroville front, which is also known as the Town Development Council of Auroville. So work on the crown, the paver block replacement, as well as mobility plan, and a host of other things are taking shape. So we're again reaching out through this medium to people all over the world. Any of you who want to contribute, volunteer, come and join this beautiful odyssey of change, progression, of being able to be true willing servitors of Mother trying to manifest her vision. If you'd like to participate in this, I think we are eagerly looking forward to welcome you and see how we can collaborate with you. We also had a very fruitful meeting yesterday with Ravi. We're really trying to see how we can make these processes of welcoming, inviting and engaging with volunteers from all over the world and India as comfortable as possible for the volunteers as well as the units, and see how we can have better coordination to make this a more fruitful program. On the 12th of July, earlier this month, we also had a very fruitful, a very beautiful meeting of the governing board as well as the interaction with all the GB members and the IAC members, the International Advisory Council members. And this was also, I think, one of the best meetings where all the aspirations, all the suggestions were shared, and some very, very concrete suggestions on what else we could do as we move forward to see the manifestation of this beautiful city was also discussed. We've also had some discussions. The Union Minister of Health was here, and I must compliment a team from Auroville led by the team from Sante and others who were looking at a college of integral health. We had an audience with him and discussed the possibility of collaborating with JIPMA, and this is also now, I think, slowly making progress. There's also several possibilities that are happening. A whole team is working on how to offer ourselves on the special occasion of the birth anniversary of Sri Aurobindo. So there is a suggestion of about 150 public art works with, combined with theatre, drama, chanting, all of it, both in Pondicherry and Auroville. Similarly, a marathon with the ashram and Auroville. These are all possibilities which are slowly taking shape. And on this note, I wanted to also add something about, we are also trying to augment the number of accommodation, about 1,000 beds being created here so that we can be more welcoming for the volunteers and other people who want to come and work here, contribute here. So now there's something interesting that some of you may have heard of, but since we are stepping into a very, very special moment in history, I thought it would be nice to share this with you. It is recorded, noted by Sri Purani, that on 15th of August 1926, on celebrating Sri Aurobindo's birthday, Sri Aurobindo gave a speech on 15th of August 1926, and I wanted to quote these words. He says, "But we've attached a special importance to this day, and it is justified if we live in the light of the truth it symbolizes. For this day, we can fix a mark in the stage in the individual and general progress." And this is much before India got her independence in 1926. I go back and quote, "It is a day which ought to be a day of consecration, of self-examination, and a preparation for future advance, if possible, for the reception of a special power which would carry on the work of advance. This can only be done in each individually if he takes up the true attitude and lives on that day under the right conditions." Now, being a little liberal, given that this is a full 150th birth anniversary, what if we all resolve to try and aspire to be this way for all the 365 days this year? He then also goes on to talk about something else which made a lot of meaning to me. I was deeply touched and moved by this. Sri Aurobindo refers to this practice on his birthday, as may have been the case then. People go and meet him physically, as we do even now. If it is somebody's birthday, we go and wish them, but personally. He says, "There must be a consecration from beforehand and a looking inward. All this we cannot do if we throw ourselves out on this day, but only by an intense concentration so that the internal being is ready and turned upwards to receive the light. In proportion as we admit an externalizing movement, we disturb the higher working and waste the energy needed for the work of inner change." And then he goes on to say about meeting him physically on that day. And if you came to me in the morning, it should not be in fulfillment of a customary ceremony, but with your souls and minds prepared to receive. If you listen to me now, and if it is merely something that touches your mental interest and satisfies a mental interest, I had rather remain silent. But if it touches somewhere the inner being, the soul, then only this day has a utility or a purpose. On this note, again, want to thank all of you for the incredible support, for the incredible contribution, collaboration you're all making in letter, spirit, thoughts, words, actions, by all these modes for this beautiful mission that we're all collectively on, which is a special privilege that we're all a part of. And this special month of August that we're just going to step into, we thought it would be a great idea if we called this whole month Invocation, the Gnostic festival, as we spend every moment, every day of this month, and of course the days thereafter, in being true to the mission for which we have all come here to Auroville, and as true children of the Mother, trying to again introspect and follow what Sri Aurobindo wanted us to do and be worthy of him, as the Mother said way back in 1972, when the 100th birthday of Sri Aurobindo was being celebrated in the New Year message. Let us all try to be worthy of Sri Aurobindo's centenary. Namaste. Thank you. Vanakkam.